All right. Let's dive into the world of Jason Statham.
Oh, good.
We've got interviews, filmographies, all sorts of things here.
Yeah.
We really want to uncover, like, what makes this guy tick? Is he just another action hero?
Right.
Or is there more to Jason Statham?
Well, I think what's fascinating about Statham is that he really challenges that whole idea of what an action star can be.
Yeah.
He's not the typical Hollywood pretty boy.
Right. Right.
Like, this is a guy who spent 12 years
Wow.
on the British national diving team.
No way.
Yeah, competed at the World Championship.
Hold on, seriously. I read that he was like 12th in the world.
Yeah.
That's not just messing around in the pool.
Well, no.
I mean, that's some serious, insane focus and discipline
Absolutely.
to be at that level.
Yeah,
So do you think that's where he gets that intensity
I think so.
that we see in his films?
Yeah, definitely. It's more than just physical strength, right?
Right.
Competitive diving, I mean, it requires incredible body control, precision, the ability to perform under like immense pressure.
Oh, for sure.
And I think those are skills
Yeah.
that translate directly to the stunt work
Yeah.
and the fight choreography he's known for.
Okay. I'm already seeing a pattern here. This guy's all about pushing himself to the limit.
He is?
And speaking of pushing limits,
Yeah.
let's talk about his martial arts background.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not just faking it for the camera, right?
Oh, not even close.
Oh.
He's trained in everything from kickboxing and Wing Chun to
Wow.
karate and mixed martial arts.
Really?
So all that real-world experience
Yeah.
gives his fight scenes this, like, visceral quality you don't often see.
Right.
He knows how to move,
Yeah.
how to hit,
Oh, yeah.
how to take a hit. It's authentic.
That's the thing. And he often performs his own stunts.
I know. It's crazy, right?
It's like most actors, I think,
Right.
would be happy to let the stunt double
Yeah, let somebody else do it.
handle that stuff. But
Not Statham.
Statham's all about getting in there and doing it for real. Yeah, it's that commitment to authenticity
I think
that really sets him apart, wouldn't you say?
it definitely goes against the grain, especially,
Yeah.
in this era of CGI-heavy blockbusters.
Right.
I mean, you've got actors swinging these digitally rendered swords
Yeah.
or battling, motion capture aliens.
It's all digital, right?
Yeah, and then you got Statham, on the other hand,
Right.
still out there doing things the old school way,
Yeah.
risking his neck for the sake of realism.
Yeah. It's almost like,
It's kind of a statement, isn't it?
yeah, it's like he's making a statement against this over-reliance on technology
Mm.
in action films.
Oh, really?
It's almost like he's a throwback to a different era
It's true.
of action heroes, the guys who really did their own stunts
Yeah,
and put it all on the line.
yeah.
Now, I know we have a lot of Statham fans listening in, so for you guys, does this dedication to the craft
Right.
make his action more impactful?
Right.
I mean, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
And it's not just about him. Like,
Right.
Statham is a vocal advocate for stunt performers.
Oh, yeah.
The unsung heroes,
Yeah.
behind those incredible action sequences.
Yeah.
He's even gone so far as to say that stunt performers deserve their own category at the Academy Awards.
Wow.
Like, he sees them as artists
Yeah.
who risk their lives to create the spectacle that we enjoy.
It's refreshing to hear an action star
I think so.
who's so outspoken about that.
Yeah.
It really humanizes him, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
You see this tough guy on screen, but there's a real depth to him.
Right.
This respect for the people who make those amazing action scenes possible.
Yeah, it speaks to his integrity.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not just interested in taking the easy way out.
Right.
He understands the craft,
That's
the
right.
dedication,
Uh-huh.
and the sacrifices involved.
Right.
And he's not afraid to use his platform to champion
Yeah.
those who are often overlooked.
Okay, so we've established that this guy's the real deal.
Definitely.
He's got the athletic background,
Uh-huh.
the martial arts skills,
Yeah,
and the commitment to authenticity.
for sure.
Now, let's trace how all of that translates to his film career.
Right.
Because this is where I think it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So let's rewind all the way back to 1998 to
Yeah.
a little film called Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
That was his breakout role, right?
Right.
What was it about that performance
Yeah.
that caught everyone's attention?
I think it was the charisma,
Mm-hmm.
that blend of Cockney charm and underlying menace
Yeah.
that just leapt off the screen.
Uh-huh.
He brought this raw energy to that film.
Yeah.
A streetwise cool that audiences hadn't really seen before.
Right.
And I think that paved the way for his iconic role in The Transporter in 2002.
Ah, The Transporter.
Yeah.
Now, that's a film that really cemented his status as an action hero.
Yeah.
But was it just the cool cars and the fight scenes?
Yeah.
Or was there something more to it?
Well, I think The Transporter wasn't just another action flick.
Right.
It established like a very specific formula.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sleek suits,
Yeah.
fast cars,
Right.
brutal fight scenes,
Yeah.
and a no-nonsense attitude.
Yeah.
He became the ultimate professional,
Uh-huh.
always in control, but with a hint of vulnerability
Okay.
that made him relatable.
So he was tough,
Yeah,
but not completely unapproachable.
exactly.
And of course, we can't forget those incredible stunts.
Of course not.
Many of which, as we've said, he performed himself.
Yes.
He raised the bar for action, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that underwater fight scene alone,
Oh, no.
pure adrenaline.
Pure adrenaline, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a key point.
Yeah.
You see that dedication to practical action throughout his whole career,
Oh, yeah.
even as CGI became more and more prevalent
Yeah.
in the industry.
He stuck to his guns.
Yeah.
He stayed true to that gritty realism.
He did.
Even when it would have been easier to just let the computers do the work.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, is he the last of a dying breed of action heroes?
That's a great question.
Right.
Yeah. And it's one we'll explore
Yeah.
as we kind of delve deeper into his filmography and
Uh-huh.
his personal philosophy.
I'm ready to dive in.
Let's do it.
So from The Transporter,
Yeah.
his career just exploded, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he's done everything
Yes.
from high-octane thrillers like Crank
Oh, yeah.
to more grounded action films like The Mechanic,
Hmm.
and he even joined the Fast and Furious franchise.
That's right.
What can we learn from the trajectory
Yeah.
of his career choices?
I think his filmography reveals a lot about his evolution as an action star.
Yeah.
He hasn't been afraid to experiment,
Uh-huh.
to push his boundaries.
Okay.
He's played the anti-hero,
Yeah.
the reluctant hero,
Right.
the straight-up badass. But through it all,
Yeah.
there's that consistent dedication
Yeah.
to delivering authentic action.
It makes you wonder, though,
Yeah,
is there a danger of him becoming a caricature of himself?
right.
Always the tough guy,
Yeah, yeah.
always the one-liner machine.
That's a valid concern.
Right.
And it's something we'll definitely discuss as we analyze his more recent work.
That's good.
But first,
Yeah.
I think it's time to go beyond the brawn
Okay.
and delve into the mind of Jason Statham.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Let's hear what the man himself has to say.
Yeah.
We've got some juicy quotes lined up here
Yeah.
that reveal his thoughts on acting, the action genre, and what really drives him.
Yeah. These quotes give us a glimpse behind the curtain,
Yeah.
into the man beneath the tough guy exterior.
Okay.
And what we find might surprise you.
All right, let's dig into these quotes.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear what Statham has to say about his craft, about acting.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to uncover some layers here.
Yeah, definitely.
One that jumps out at me is his description of his training gym.
Oh, yeah.
It's not some fancy Hollywood spot.
Right.
He calls it
I love this.
a spit and sawdust kind of place,
Yeah.
filled with stuntmen, trampolines, bags, and every weapon ever invented to do harm to a human being.
It's pretty intense.
Okay, that sounds intense.
Right.
It paints a very different picture
It does.
from the polished image
Right.
we often see on screen.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you
Well,
about his approach to training?
I think it speaks volumes
Yeah.
about his commitment to authenticity.
Okay.
He's not interested in the superficial.
Right.
He wants to train in an environment that's raw and real,
Uh-huh.
just like the action he portrays on screen.
Right, right.
It's about pushing himself,
Yeah.
surrounding himself with people who share his dedication.
So it's not just about looking good.
No,
It's about feeling the part,
I think so.
experiencing that grit and intensity firsthand.
Absolutely.
And I can see how that would translate to a
Yeah.
more believable performance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And there's another quote where he talks about
Oh.
drawing inspiration from these like colorful characters he encountered growing up,
Oh, wow.
people who lived on, the other side of the law.
Right, right.
He says he can draw on those experiences
Interesting.
to bring authenticity to his roles.
So it's not just physical training.
No.
It's about tapping
It's
into
deeper than that.
real life observations, these glimpses into a different world. It
Yeah.
adds a layer of complexity, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. He's not just playing a stereotype.
Right.
He's drawing on real human experiences,
Yeah.
even if they're from, the fringes of society.
Right.
It gives his performances a certain depth.
it makes you wonder, though,
Yeah.
is he romanticizing that world?
Right.
Or is he simply acknowledging its existence and finding ways to incorporate it into his art?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fine line, wouldn't you say?
It is a fine line.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it's something worth considering as we delve deeper into his work.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
here's where things get really interesting.
Right.
There's a quote where he criticizes the overuse of CGI in action movies.
Oh, okay.
He talks about how in the old days, with guys like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan,
Yeah.
you saw the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
The camera's way back. There aren't a lot of cuts. You feel like you're really in there.
Right, right.
And he contrasts that
Okay.
with today's reliance on technology,
Right.
saying you can turn your grandma into an action star with CGI.
He's not holding back.
He's not.
But, I mean, isn't there a place for CGI in action films?
Sure.
Like, some of those effects would be impossible to create, practically, right?
Right. And I think he's not necessarily against CGI altogether,
Okay.
but he's advocating for a balance.
Right.
He's concerned that this reliance on digital effects is
Yeah.
taking away from
Yeah.
the raw, visceral quality of action. He wants audiences to feel the danger,
Yeah.
the skill,
Uh-huh.
the real human effort
Yeah.
behind these incredible sequences.
So it's not just about realism.
No.
It's about respecting the craft.
Yeah.
Honoring the stunt performers who put their bodies on the line.
Mhm.
It's about making those action scenes mean something.
Exactly. And remember,
Yeah.
he's been very vocal about the need to recognize stunt performers,
Yeah.
to give them the credit they deserve.
Right.
So his criticism of CGI
Right.
is partly about, pushing back against a system
Okay.
that often undervalues practical effects
Right.
and the people who create them.
It's a powerful statement.
It is.
Especially coming from someone who's at the top of the action game.
Right.
He could easily just go with the flow,
Absolutely.
embrace the CGI spectacle.
Yeah.
But he's choosing to stand up
He is.
for what he believes in.
Even if it means going against the grain?
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what makes him so compelling.
Yeah.
He's not just an action figure.
Yeah.
He's a thinking, feeling human being with strong convictions.
Right.
He cares about the integrity of his craft.
Yeah.
And he's willing to fight for it.
It's funny.
Yeah.
We started this deep dive
Right.
wondering if he was just another action hero.
Yeah.
But the more we uncover,
Yeah.
the more he seems like
I know.
a bit of a rebel.
Yeah.
A throwback
Yeah.
to a time when action films were more about grit and realism.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
is he a dying breed?
Right.
Or is he paving the way for a new generation of action stars
Right.
who prioritize authenticity over spectacle?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked a lot about his commitment to action
Yeah.
and stunt work,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm curious about his views
Okay.
on acting in general.
Does he see himself as a serious actor
Right.
who just happens to do action films?
Right. There's a quote
Yeah.
where he talks about working with Sylvester Stallone
Oh,
on The Expendables.
okay.
He calls Stallone someone that you have to respect
Right.
and describes the set as
Yeah.
very relaxed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't necessarily associate relaxed
No, not
with
really.
the Stallone action film.
No.
So what does that reveal
Well-
about Statham's approach to
Yeah.
collaboration?
I think it suggests that he understands the importance of respect
Mm-hmm.
and teamwork,
Okay.
even in a genre that's often associated with
Yeah.
big egos
Right.
and over-the-top personalities.
Super.
He's willing to learn
Yeah.
from those who came before him
Right.
to acknowledge their contributions.
It shows a certain humility that
You're-
you might not expect from a global action star.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think about the whole...
Tough guy persona.
Right.
Is that just an act?
Yeah.
Or is it part of who he really is? Do you
Yeah.
think there's a vulnerability
Right.
beneath that tough exterior?
That's a question worth exploring.
It is.
And I think the answer might lie somewhere in between.
I think so too.
He's clearly
Yeah.
physically imposing
Say it.
and capable individual.
Yes.
But he also seems to possess a self-awareness
Hmm.
and a sense of humor about his own image.
Right.
He's not afraid to poke fun at himself.
Yeah, he's not taking himself too seriously.
Right, which is always a good sign.
Which is good.
It suggests that
Yeah.
that he's comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to constantly prove his toughness.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that confidence
Yeah.
allows him to take risks,
Yeah.
to push his boundaries,
Okay.
to explore different facets of his personality on screen.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From his training regimen
Mm-hmm.
and his philosophy on action.
Yeah. To his views on CGI and his respect for his collaborators. But we haven't really talked about his future.
That's true.
Where does he go from here?
Right.
What kind of roles do you see him taking on as he continues to evolve as an actor?
That's a great question.
Right.
And I think it's one we need to tackle head on
Okay.
as we move into the final part of our deep dive.
We've spent this deep dive exploring Jason Statham's career, from his athletic beginnings to his outspoken views on action movies.
Right.
We've learned he's not just a one-dimensional tough guy,
Right.
but an artist with a deep respect for his craft.
Constantly.
But now I'm wondering, where does he go from here?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I mean, he's achieved incredible success, but what's next for Jason Statham?
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, he could easily keep churning out action blockbusters, but I sense there's more to him than that.
Yeah.
Do you think he might be looking to challenge himself in new ways?
Yeah.
Maybe even step outside the action genre altogether?
I think that's definitely a possibility. I mean, we've seen glimpses of his range in films like Snatch.
Oh, yeah?
Where he showed a knack for comedic timing.
Yeah.
And in some of his more dramatic roles, like Hummingbird,
Right.
he revealed a depth of emotion that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
So maybe he's looking for roles that allow him to explore those aspects of his talent.
Right. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of roles would you like to see him take on?
Oh, man.
Would you like to see him stick with action,
Yeah.
but maybe in a different context?
Yeah.
Or would you be open to seeing him branch out into completely new territory?
Personally, I would love to see him tackle a truly complex character.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe a historical figure or someone with a troubled past.
Yeah.
I think he has the intensity and the presence to pull off a really captivating, dramatic performance.
Right.
But hey, even if he sticks with action,
Yeah.
I'm all for it as long as he keeps pushing boundaries and challenging conventions.
I agree. And I think that's what makes him so interesting.
Right.
He's not afraid to take risks to go against the grain.
He's got a vision.
Yeah.
He seems genuinely passionate about making films that are both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Yes. Remember that quote where he talked about wanting to see more practical effects?
Yes.
More realism in action films?
Yeah.
He clearly wants to bring back a certain kind of grittiness.
Yeah.
A sense of danger.
Right.
That's often missing from today's CGI-heavy blockbusters.
Right.
It's almost like he's on a mission to remind audiences what real action looks and feels like.
It's a good point. And let's not forget his advocacy for stunt performers.
Oh, totally.
He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk.
He is.
By consistently working with and supporting stunt professionals.
So that's so.
Do you think his efforts will actually lead to real change within the industry?
That's hard to say.
Yeah.
But I think his voice carries a lot of weight.
Right.
I mean, he is a respected figure in the industry.
Yeah.
And his passion for this issue is undeniable.
Right.
So by speaking out and using his platform to raise awareness, he's definitely contributing to the conversation.
And maybe that's his ultimate legacy, right?
It should be.
Not just as an action star, but as someone who fought for a better, fairer industry.
Yeah.
He's using his success to champion those who are often overlooked, to push for a more authentic and meaningful approach to action filmmaking.
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
It makes you wonder, what kind of impact does his work have on audiences?
That's a good question.
Does it inspire them to look beyond the explosions and car chases and appreciate the artistry and skill involved in creating those moments?
It would be fascinating to hear from our listeners about their own experiences with Statham's films. What moments resonate with them? What do they take away from his performances?
And more broadly,
yeah.
What does the future hold for action cinema as a whole?
Right.
Will it continue down the path of CGI spectacle?
Yeah.
Or is there a growing demand for return to more practical, character-driven action films?
That's a question that's bigger than Jason Statham.
It is.
But he's certainly a key figure in that conversation.
Yeah.
He represents a certain kind of filmmaking, a certain set of values that seem to be increasingly rare in today's Hollywood landscape.
For sure.
And whether he continues to star in action films or decides to explore new genres, I think his influence will continue to be felt.
I think so, too.
He's left his mark on the industry.
He has.
And his commitment to authenticity and integrity will hopefully inspire others to follow in his footsteps.
I hope so.
Well, I think we've done a pretty thorough job of unpacking Jason Statham's career and exploring what makes him tick.
We covered a lot.
We've seen that he's much more than just a tough guy on screen.
Right.
He's a dedicated artist, a thoughtful individual, and someone who's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
That's right.
We've seen how his athletic background, his martial arts expertise, and his unwavering commitment to practical action have shaped his unique approach to filmmaking. We've explored his outspoken views on CGI, his advocacy for stunt performers, and his desire to bring a greater sense of authenticity to the action genre.
For sure.
But I think the most important takeaway is this. Jason Statham is a reminder that even in a world of digital effects and virtual experiences, there's still a place for real, tangible action. There's still a power in seeing human beings push their physical and creative limits on screen. Absolutely. And there's still an audience hungry for stories that are both thrilling and meaningful.
I agree.
So as we conclude this deep dive, we encourage you to think about what Jason Statham's work means to you.
Yeah, what do you appreciate about his films?
Right.
What resonates with you about his approach to acting?
Yeah, and what do you hope to see from him in the future?
And if you're inspired to explore more of his filmography, we've got a full list of his films and some recommended viewing orders.
Oh, nice.
On our website.
Awesome.
Be sure to check it out and let us know what you discover.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Jason Statham.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.